Shalom. This is Deacon Smith with the House of the Lost Sheep of Israel and the King James Bible University. And today's title is No Man Shall Prevail. All of our years we have been being taught by men and the precepts of men and the doctrines of men, which is all vanity. And we will not come to the truth with that type of knowledge because men are destitute from the truth unless they convert their spirit unto the spirit of the Holy One. We must all evaluate ourselves and choose which side of the plumb line we want to go, either after the flesh of men or after the spirit of God, because we can't serve both. So it's on us whether we will prevail or whether we shall succeed. Shall prevail or shall not prevail. We're going to go to Revelations chapter 18, verse 2 through 5. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, confusion, the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils. And we know this is speaking of the world. And the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. That's why your pastor is rich. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, so this is the warning, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. Those that dwell in the buildings and those that teach from the vanity of their minds and the imaginations of their minds, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. Genesis chapter 6, verse 7 through 8. Verse 7, and the Spirit of God said, I will destroy men whom I have created from the face of the earth. And why? Because of all the vanities that's going on. Because of Revelations 18 and 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So this is why he will destroy men whom I have created from the face of the earth, both men and beasts, and creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it reminded me that I have made them. Verse 8, but Noah, the comfort, found grace in the eyes of the Spirit of God. So we must take upon Noah, that comforter, to find grace in the understanding of the Spirit of God. And here I'm going to show you in Exodus 33, verse 16 and 17. For wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not in that thou goest with us? So he'll be that comforter and go with us and guide us and instruct us. So shall we be separated from the earth that's going to be destroyed, from Babylon, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. Verse 17, And the Spirit of God said unto Moses, the word, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by way, by name. Ecclesiasticus chapter 51, verse 20 through 24. So we better hope that he knows us by name, by way, because if he doesn't, then when we get to the finish line, he gonna say he never knew us, and we must depart from him. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 51, verse 20. I directed my soul unto her, which is wisdom, the Spirit of God, and I found her in pureness. I have had my heart joined with her from the beginning. Therefore shall I not be forsaken. My heart was troubled in seeking her. Therefore have I gotten a good possession. The Creator have given me a tongue, customs, and language for my reward, and I will praise him therewith. Draw near unto me, ye unlearned, and dwell in the house of learning. Wherefore are ye slow? And what say ye to these things, seeing your souls are very thirsty? Psalms 84, verse 4 through 5 and 10 through 12. Blessed are they that dwell in thy house. And we just showed you where it says, dwell in the house of learning. On verse 23 of Sirach, chapter 51. Draw near unto me, ye unlearned, and dwell in the house of learning. So that's where we must be. Blessed are they that dwell in thy house. They will be still praising thee, confessing thee. Selah. Blessed is the man whose strength is in thee, in whose heart are the ways of them, are the names of them. Verse 10, for a day in thy courts is better than 1,000. I had rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than to dwell in the tents of wickedness. And today we was just turned down by a church, a doorkeeper of the house of Satan. And they wouldn't let us in. So I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of understanding of my God than to dwell in the tents of wickedness in those buildings and churches where they scared to let men in. Verse 11, for the Spirit of God, my God, is a sun and shield, the light and the shield. The Spirit of God will give grace and glory. No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly. Verse 12, O Spirit of hosts, Spirit of God of hosts, blessed, knowledge and understanding is given is the man that trusted in thee. So you dwelling in those buildings, you don't have no trust of God. You don't have the promise of God, which is the love of God. But you love and trust in men, which shall not prevail. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 13, 15 through 19. Verse 13, thou shalt be perfect with the Spirit of God, thy guide. Verse 15, the Spirit of God, thy guide, will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me, unto him ye shall hearken. So he gonna give us people, men that we can be instructed by. And they gonna use precepts and they're going to give you the understanding through precepts and not through theology or concordances of men. Verse 16, according to all that thou desirest of the Spirit of God thy guide in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Spirit of God my guide, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. And the Spirit of God said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. So he's good on his promise. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I should command him. He's not going to turn to the left hand or to the right hand, but he's going to stay on that righteous path and guide us to the promised land. Verse 19, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, in my way, I will require it of him. So we gonna be required to learn the knowledge that he's speaking, the way of truth and life. And if we choose not to listen, then we shall not prevail. And we, at the end, we would be destroyed with this earth. John chapter 12, verse 49. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment. What should I say and what should I speak? Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 20 through 23. But if you let men tell you, they'll tell you that this book was written by men and that is fake. But we shall not hearken to those people, because we know they're fools and they don't believe in God. They have no guide, no instruction. Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 20. Declare this in the house of Jacob and publish it in Judah, saying, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Fear ye not me? That's the Spirit of God speaking. He asking a question, says the Spirit of God. Will you not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it? And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. But this people have a revolting and a rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone. And that's why we in the condition we in now. Because we have rebelled and revolted and became enemies of God. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 11 through 12 and 16. For whoso despiseth wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain. Because you hope in this world. Your hope is in this world. And this world is vanity, because it's going to be destroyed. Their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable, without understanding, without the Spirit of Christ. They work with their own hands, their own power. Verse 12, their wives are foolish and their children wicked. Verse 16, as for the children of adulterers, they shall not come to their perfection, and the seed of an unrighteous bed shall be rooted out. John chapter 17, verse 9. and 13 through 14. If you let men convince you that God is for everyone, here is the verse for that. Because no man shall prevail. And the world is part of that. That shall not prevail. Only if you separate yourself from the world and come unto the knowledge of truth, then you got a shot. You got a chance of redemption and of salvation. I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. Verse 13. And now come I to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. Because we must have that spirit of God to receive that joy, because the world is miserable because it has not the love of Christ, and they despise wisdom and nature, and their hope is vain, and their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable. So these are the ones he's praying not for, because they must convert their spirit and rethink themselves. With men are prideful, and they choose not. Verse 14, I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 through 7. Let no man deceive you, those men that are in the world, by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, which shall not prevail, who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called Yahweh, or the God, or that is worship, so that he as a guide sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. He is the God. So he gonna try to have the authority over you. And if you let him, it's gonna happen. That's why we see all these people flocking on a Sunday to these church buildings. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. For the mysteries of iniquity, acts of sin, doth already work. Only he who now let it will let until he be taken out of the way. Exactly. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16 and 17. And what agreement hath the temple of Yahweh with idols? With those men that try to rule over you and have authority over you, these fleshly kings. For ye are the temple of the living God. As Yahweh hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, says the Creator, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Isaiah chapter 42, verse 6 through 10, 13 through 18, 20, and 23 through 25. Verse 6, I, the Spirit of God, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, this the Comforter, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house, and unto the house of learning. I am the Spirit of God, that is my name, that is my way, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. So why do we make them? Why do we carry these graven images around when we know it shall not prevail us? Being a carnal man. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Sing unto the Spirit of God a new song. Be renewed in your mind and spirit, and his praise from the end of the earth, that ye that go down to the sea, and all that is therein, the isles and the inhabitants thereof. Verse 13, the Spirit of God shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. So the men that aren't prevailing are at war with the Spirit of God and his people. He shall prevail against his enemies. He made our enemies his enemies if we being obedient to the word of God. Verse 14, I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills, and dry up all their herbs. And I will make their rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. He gonna do it, not on our own will. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them. They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images, that say to the molten images, ye are our gods. And that's what they do. That's the Christian doctrine. They believe a man is God, and they're going to be saved by that man. But it was the Spirit of God that was in the man that controlled the man. Hear ye deaf, and look ye blind, that ye may see. Verse 20, seeing many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not. Verse 23, who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Spirit of God, he against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. Therefore he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it have set him on fire round about. Yet he knew not, and it burnt him. Yet he laid it not to heart, because he was a man stuck in his ways, like a lot of us are. Never coming to the truth because we reprobate. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, 1 through 2. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that you were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. And that's going back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now let it will let until he be taken out of the way. And you was taken out of the way, you of the Gentiles, of the way of Gentiles. You know that you were Gentiles carried away out that way unto these dumb idols, even as you were led by the spirit of Satan, of devils, doctrines of devils. Isaiah chapter 42, verse 8 through 10, and 12 through 18, and 22 through 25. If they would just open that book and read for themselves and precept and learn how to precept, then we will be good. We'll know what's required of us. And we'll know that it's only one guide and that his son is not a man. His son is the word of God, his seed. Verse 8, I am the Spirit of God. That is my name, my way. And my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare before they spring forth. I tell you of them. Sing unto the Spirit of God a new song, and his praise from the end of the earth, that ye go down to the sea, and all that is therein, the isles and the inhabitants thereof. Let them give glory. Verse 12, let them give glory unto the Spirit of God, and declare his praise in the islands. The Spirit of God shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs. And I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. And I will bring the blind, those Gentile-minded people, by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. So as Christians, we never knew the way of Israel. We always knew the doctrines of men and how they theologize the scriptures unto destruction. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them. They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images. Those that don't take heed to the warning and stay as Gentiles, compared as Gentiles of the mind, led by idols, these graven images that say to the molten images, ye are our gods. Hear ye deaf and look ye blind, that ye may see. Verse 22, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore, because they're comfortable in those clefts of the rocks, in those vain places, in the prison houses, in those whorehouses that's built on every corner. Who among you will give ear to this? Verse 23. Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Spirit of God, he against whom we have sinned, for they would not walk in his ways? So he gave us up to our own vanities. Neither were they obedient